And we are live from Toronto, Ontario, Canada, in the province of Ontario, in the city of Toronto. Should really be the capital. Hello, I'm Luke Michael Howard, clinical hypnotist, and tonight's Facebook Live is gonna all be about Q&A. Ask me anything as it relates to hypnosis and anxiety. So how this is going to work today is you're going to ask me questions about hypnosis, how it can help with anxiety or anxiety in general. Ask me questions in the little comments box below, and I'm going to respond live to those comments, to those questions you have about anxiety and hypnosis. So get typing underneath, and while we wait for some people to join us here today, I am going to say, hey Deb, how are you? Candice, how are you? And someone else came on as well, and I can't see your name right now, but whoever you are, hey, how are you? So if you just joined us, give us a thumb, give us a wave, and think of some questions and put them in the comments box below so I can answer hypnosis and anxiety in general, Q&A about that, or about me, about what I do. But while we're waiting for some people, I'll just tell you a little bit about me if this is the first time you've ever listened to me. Hey Monica, how are you? My name is Luke Michael Howard. I am a clinical hypnotist. I'm basically a change worker. What that means is I'm an architect of people's minds. I help people see through psychological illusions. I've been doing this 23 years now, helping people one-on-one just like you. I help people solve problems they believe are unsolvable. I help people fix things they believe are unfixable. I've worked for celebrities, I've worked for governments, but I've also worked for people like you, the people that have fallen through the cracks and that they're a last resort and they've almost lost all hope. I have a particular set of skills that make me a nightmare for your anxiety and for your problems. So if you've got a problem specifically with anxiety and you've lost all hope and you have nowhere else to turn, message me. I can help you fix yourself. So that's a little bit about me. So again, guys, questions, how this is going to work today. There's no fixed topic tonight, so it only works if you ask me questions about anxiety or about hypnosis, about what I do. Otherwise, it's going to be a very, very short Facebook Live. So put your questions underneath in the comments box, and I will endeavour, I'm going to answer them all as best as I can here on the Facebook Live. This is interactive, folks, so I'm working with you here today. Hey, Barbara, how are you? Deb asks, what was the most difficult thing you ever had to help someone with? That's a good question. One of these stories is going to be in my book that's coming up soon. I had this guy and he was coming to see me because basically he had a very shy bladder, which means he would empty his bladder, he'd go to the washroom and he would get in his car, it'd be completely empty, he wouldn't have even drank anything on that day, and he'd go for a drive, and within 1 hour he would have to pull over and go pee, even if he had nothing in his system. And again, there was some medical history there. One of the things was potentially looking at if he had some irritable bowel syndrome, IBS, but he passed all the tests with his doctor. So yeah, whatever it was, he had to pull over his car, and he didn't want to go. He'd pull over his car after an hour of driving. It was always between 45 minutes and an hour. He'd pull over his car no matter where he was to quickly rush to the washroom, and he couldn't go because he didn't need to go. It was purely psychological. Anyways, this chap booked 3 sessions with me. We did the screening call. That's how I find out a little bit more about people, and I find out a little bit more about me and how I work. And I'm just going to warn you, in about 9 minutes, it is 7:30 here in Toronto, and there's going to be a bunch of noise. It's going to sound like a bunch of prisoners clapping, yelling, hollering for the nurses, doctors, emergency workers. If you hear a bunch of noise, we don't have a riot here. It's just something that happens at 7:30. I think in most places around the world now, but certainly here in Canada where I am. Anyways, this chap, we'll call him John. That wasn't his name. He booked 3 sessions with me to come and see me. So he paid up front, as all my clients do. And then about a week later, he sent me a message saying he wanted to cancel. And I'm like, well, have we fixed your problem? He's like, no, I've decided to get some counselling instead though, so I'd like my money back. Well, I'm like, well, that's not how it works, you know, totally, from signing the agreement and us having that chat on the phone that we're going to work together. So I'm still here to work with you, but absolutely no refunds because we haven't done the work, but you've booked this time out. So he's very angry with me, very frustrated with me. Anyways, a couple of angry emails from him, and I generally wanted to help this guy, and I didn't think that the way he was going about it was going to help him. Anyways, it all went silent. A month later, I get an email said, well, I guess I have to come and see you. So he comes into his first session. He doesn't like me. He figures that I've cheated him out of his money at this point, right? And he's got this very, what's the word I'm looking for? Embarrassing problem that's going on for him. So we do the first session, and we get some rapport. I think it's going okay. And he comes back a week later, and he comes in for the second session. He looks at me and he starts laughing. I'm like, it's gone, hasn't it? He's like, yeah. I'm like, and you're wishing you'd come to see me earlier, like when you booked me a month ago, right? He's like, yeah. He's like, Luke, I'm so sorry. I know that you generally wanted to help me, but I thought I needed to try this counselling route. It didn't help. And after what's happened over the last week, I wish I'd just come to see you immediately when this has started and not wasted time. Hasten to say, as far as I know, this was a couple of years back, but he never had to pull over on the side of the road when he didn't really physiologically need to go to the bathroom again. He got all clear of the IBS. There was no IBS going on. And this was really important to him because he was travelling from Ottawa to Montreal, which is about an hour and a half, 2 hour drive, and he was fearing he wouldn't be able to do it to see his girlfriend, but now it all got fixed. He was able to go to Montreal, she was able to come to Ottawa, and it was really, really good. So that would probably be, going into it, one of the most difficult clients that I had, or sessions to begin with. I'm just going to scroll down. I've got a couple more questions here and see if I can look at them. Hopefully that answered your question, Deb. If you're watching, give me a thumbs up, give me a wave. Tonight's a Q&A, so you have to ask me questions, and that is going to be an interactive experience today. If you ask no questions, it's going to be a short Facebook Live, so put your questions in the comments box. I'm going to answer some of the others that have been put up in the meantime as I scroll through. It could be questions about anxiety, how I deal with anxiety, questions about hypnosis, or just questions about me. If you're watching, give me a wave, give me a thumbs up. Let's have a look. Candice asks, I'm wondering how hypnosis helps anxiety. Well, amazing question. I'm actually writing a book. I'm about 15,000 words into that book so far. It's about 50 pages on hypnosis and how hypnosis helps alleviate the symptoms of anxiety. But just very quickly, because this is going to be a big book. But yeah, hypnosis is very effective for anxiety because it takes people from their sympathetic nervous system, fight, flight or freeze, or fawn, 4 Fs, and it puts them into the parasympathetic nervous system, which is rest and digest, helps to heal up any traumas that they may have, any emotional baggage that they've been carrying through all the years, allows them to put that baggage down and create the kind of future that they want, enable people to see through their psychological illusions. So that's just a real quick way explanation on how I help people with anxiety through hypnosis. Just scrolling through again, guys, put your questions in the comments below. It's interactive tonight. You've got me for free, so if you ask no questions, it's going to be a short Facebook Live. So put questions below. I'm going to answer Barbara's question next. Barbara asks, hi Luke, I attended Melissa Tears training in Toronto, so did I, and often refer to simple techniques, patterns can use outside of hypnosis that help reduce anxiety using an NLP approach. Do you have some resources of your own? Great question, Barbara. There's tons of resources on this very page of me actually doing techniques with people that revolve them having their eyes open, techniques that work within about 30 seconds. Some are mine, some are people that I've trained with and done their courses and paid them handsomely and now use their skills as well. So if you scroll down on this page, watch some of the Facebook Lives or some of the videos I put up from my YouTube channel. There are a ton of videos on how to help people with anxiety. Quick tool, I'm sure you know this, Barbara. Melissa Tears teaches this, bilateral stimulation. Meaning oftentimes When people are having a panic attack or in an episode of anxiety, only one hemisphere of their brain is engorged by blood. One simple way to get that blood to go to both hemispheres of the brain, thus shutting down the anxiety response, bilateral stimulation. You can get whatever you want to get, but you get an object. I'm going to get a glass for visuals. Here's my glass. Person has anxiety. They've accessed the file. They know what they're feeling anxiety. Second question I asked them is, on a scale of 0 to 10, how strong is that feeling? 10 is, oh my God, I couldn't possibly feel more anxiety. And 0 is, I ain't feeling any anxiety. You get an object, any object, just using a glass right here. And all you simply do is you pass that object from hand to hand, crisscrossing the midline. Again, doesn't matter the object. You don't have to look at it, but it's important. You're not just doing this. You're not playing hot potato with the glass. You're actually physically crossing your midline. This is your midline. Physically crossing it before you let go of one hand. What happens after about 30 to 60 seconds of this, it sends blood to both hemispheres of the brain, shutting down that anxiety-like response. So that's a little technique. I've shared it in other videos before on this very page and on Facebook Lives, but that's a technique that Melissa Tears teaches. I don't know if she originated that technique, doesn't matter, but that's a great technique for dealing with anxiety or for breaking the pattern. Hopefully that answered one of your questions, Barbara. Just going to scroll down right now. If you're watching and you just joined us, give us a thumb, give us a wave. How Tonight works interactively. Write your questions in the comments below about me, about hypnosis, about anxiety, and I will answer them live here today, because there is no fixed agenda here today. All right. Monica is watching. Monica says hello. Hello, Monica. Barbara, hello. Just answered your question. Wendy is watching. Hey, Wendy, how are you? Candice, have asked your question. Answered your question about how hypnosis helps anxiety. Hey, Jim, how are you? Answered your question, Barbara. Debbie says yes. Thank you for sharing. Well done, Luke. Barbara, okay, she's happy. April, how are you? Barbara, okay, Luke, thanks so much. I use bilateral stimulation for sure. Yeah, it's a great technique. And again, it can be anything. It could be the cell phone you're passed in. It can be a joypad. Doesn't matter what it is. Just about 30 to 60 seconds. The key is to go past that center line to crisscross to make sure the hemispheres get wired up like so. Debbie says, are you going to do an in-person session again after the isolation is over, or are you going straight to online? That's a good question. So, yeah, most of my work is one-on-one with people. But even before the lockdown was happening, more and more of my work, hey Camille, how are you, was being done virtually, so I could have my office. I like to travel, right? So whether I'm in England, whether I'm in America, whether I'm in Canada, wherever I am, I can still help people around the world, whether that's existing clients or new clients. So, yeah, even before lockdown, probably about 50 to 60% of my sessions were done virtually. But no, I will still, if time permits, if I'm in the area, of course I will continue to do physical sessions. I like to do physical sessions with people. I feel there's this intrinsic quality about being in the room with someone to feel the energy. I like that. However, as a good hypnotist said recently, when someone asked him, they said, well, how can you help me virtually? You know, hypnosis, don't you have to be in the same room? And he said, well, where I'm working is I'm working in your head. So it doesn't matter if we're in the same room together or if you're 5,000 miles across the Atlantic Ocean in England. I'm still working inside your head. So it doesn't matter if we do it over camera, if we do it over cell phone, or if we do it, we're in the same room. I'm still working in the same environment because the problem only exists in your head. So, I like that reframe. It's a good thing. It's true. All the problems are in your head. Doesn't mean they aren't very real. Doesn't mean you don't feel it totally. Doesn't mean you don't have some suffering from it. But the problems only exist in your head. So it doesn't matter how we do it, virtually or in person. Hopefully I answered your question. If you've just joined us, give me a wave. Give me a thumbs up. This is a Q&A tonight. It works on you asking me questions, and you're doing beautifully so far. So please keep it up. Any questions you've got about anxiety, any questions about hypnosis, any questions you've got about me, fire them away. I'm just going to scroll down on my screen here. There is some questions. Barbara asks, what are your thoughts on virtual visits? What would you do then with a client you've never met before? So I think I kind of just answered that question. Maybe I'm psychic and not just a hypnotist, because I kind of answered it without seeing it. But yeah, there's quite a few sessions. There's people actually on this Facebook Live now that I've never met personally, unfortunately. But we've done virtual sessions and have been very, very successful. So the answer is yes. You can hear all that noise probably right now, right? People hitting their drums and shouting and hollering and honking their horns. It's because it's 7:30 and this is what we do every night here in Toronto, celebrating emergency service workers, nurses, doctors. Listen, and they're all doing a great job. All these people that continue to work under the lockdown, my heart goes out to you. I respect you. That's amazing. I don't know how making a bunch of racket at 7:30 that scares my cats is helping those people. I've spoke to nurses and doctors and I said, you know, when all that noise is going on, do you feel better about the work that you're doing? They're like, nah, it don't make any difference at all. So, you know, I don't know, the noise is annoying. But anyways, I feel that we should celebrate these people, but maybe give them more money for what they're doing as opposed to just making a racket at this time. But I'm off on a tangent. So I think I answered your question, right, Barbara? Cool. Candice asks, how would you go about getting a session with you? Lovely. So great question. Amazing question, Candice. When this Facebook Live is done at the end of the day and the replay goes up, I am going to put a clickable link. It's me put in the comment. I'm going to put it in the comments. You click on that link, it takes you to a secure page on my website where there's a lovely 2-minute video where I say hi and I explain how to book a screening session. Screening sessions are free. They're 40 minutes with me over some kind of virtual technology. Not over camera, but it might be Facebook audio, it might be over iMessage audio. But we have a chat essentially over the telephone, just voices, where I ask you a bunch of questions to find out a little bit more about you and where you're at. And then you could ask me any questions about how I could personally help you. And it's free, of course. And if I think I can help you and you feel, and I feel that would be a good match, then we go to book a session from there. So hopefully that answered your question, Candice, and I will put the link after this Facebook goes live and we up the recording when we're done tonight. So stay tuned, it will be up when it's up in, I don't know, 10, 20, 30 minutes or so. All right, any more questions, guys? Remember how tonight works. It's a hypnosis Q&A, not just hypnosis, but anxiety. Me, any questions you've got about how hypnosis can help with anxiety, hypnosis in general, because it's a bit of a interesting subject that people always have questions about it. Like, what is it? How does it work? It's your chance to speak to someone who's been doing it for 23 years. Or if you just got questions about me and who the hell am I and why should you listen to me? You can put your questions about me below and I won't take offence. I'll answer them to my best of my ability. Just scrolling down, right one. Debbie says she prefers one-on-one in person rather than virtually. Yeah, you know, we've got our, you know, we've got the things that we lean against. We've got our preferences. That's totally fine, absolutely. But studies have shown, and my work has shown, that there is absolutely no difference in the result that people get, whether we're working in the same room with one another or we're doing it virtually over video. It's exactly the same. And I'm talking about anything from addictions to weight release clients, to people that are looking to fast, to people with anxiety disorders, depression. Basically, it's the same level of success. But I totally get it, Debbie, that people have preferences, as I do as well. Just scrolling through. Jeff is watching. Hello, Jeff. If you're just watching us, if you just joined us, give me a thumb, give me a wave, or just say hello in the comments. Remember, ask questions tonight. It's a Q&A. Put your questions about hypnosis, anxiety, or me in your comments below, and I am going to answer. Barbara says, thanks, Luke. I just finished my shift at the COVID assessment clinic. Lovely, cool. Hope you're well. Hopefully you are safe and you're keeping that illness at bay. And thank you for helping everybody out there. Nigar is watching. Nigar, how are you? Good to see you. Watching again. If you just join us, give us fun, give us a wave. Who else have we got? Barbara asks, are you screening for readiness to change, or if the client is at threshold for change before you see them? Good question. So I understand the question, Barbara, because I'm a hypnotist and I'm a change worker, but a lot of people won't get what that question means. So for the hypnotist, I know you get it. What Barbara's asking in that question is basically, when I have to chat with someone on the phone, am I seeing if someone's ready to actually make the change, number one, and number two, if they've got experienced enough pain with their problem to make the change. Yes, to both of those questions, because if a client calls me up and I ask them, hey, example, your anxiety on a scale of 0 to 10, how much of a problem is it for you? 10 is it's a big ass problem, and 0 is it ain't really a problem at all, and a client says it's 3. I know, because I've been doing this a long time, they're not in enough pain, and they're not going to have the motivation if they're only at a 3 out of 10 to, number one, do the work, and number two, pay me, because I charge a premium for my services. So I work with people like, excuse my French, if there's any kids right now in your room, this is your 5-second warning. Tell them to leave. Because I'm going to use colourful language, because I'm fucking expensive. So if they're not in a sufficient area where it's bothering them every single day, then they ain't going to be the right hypnotist for me, and they're not going to be the right client for me, because they need to be in a position of what we say threshold, where they don't want to spend another day living in that problem. Because most people, Barbara, I find, are in no man's or no woman's land. Let's not be sexist. If you imagine this is total pleasure, this is total pain, right? There's somewhere in the middle where they're not experiencing enough pain every day to be like, I have to do whatever I need to do to change this problem. Yet they're not in enough pleasure to say, well, I've got a lovely amount of freedom in my life. I'm happy. I'm feeling amazing. They're right in the middle. They're living a life of quiet despair. So if someone's there, it's actually the worst place. If you're having more and more emotional, physical, psychological, if you believe it, spiritual pain, the likelihood that we can get a shift or change is a lot higher, exponentially higher than if you were like a 5 on that scale, 4 or 5, where you're like a bit wishy-washy. Yeah, it could change or it might not change. It really isn't going to make an impact in my life. Those are not typically the best clients for me, because they're not sufficiently motivated to get the hell away from their problem and start to develop in a more compelling future for those. Hopefully that answered your question, Barbara. Again, if you've got any questions, please put them in the comments below about me, about hypnosis, about anxiety. And if you just joined us, give us a thumb, give us a wave. Thank you, Barbara. Just scrolling down now. Hey, Jeff, how are you? Jeff asks, I have terrible anxiety, anxious ever since January. That has cost me jobs. Can hypnosis help me? Absolutely. If you're ready, it can absolutely help you to overcome the symptoms of anxiety. Like I say, I'm going to put a link at the bottom of this Facebook Live when it's done today to my page, where essentially you just book a time where we have a chat over the telephone or audio, Facebook audio or WhatsApp audio. It's 40 minutes. It's not a session, but it's for me to find out a little bit more about you in the privacy, where you don't have to share your whole story with hundreds of people watching a Facebook Live, so to speak. So I can really dig deep, ask you some real precision questions to find out your anxiety and where you're at and why you want to change it, and essentially how much pain you're in, and then obviously answer any questions about me, what I do, or how I can potentially help you, and see if we'd be a good match. That would probably be the best step there, Jeff. And I'm going to put that link after this Facebook Live is upped, after this live recording here tonight. And also there is a shit ton of resources on this very page, resources that up until a couple of months ago I only shared them with paying clients. So there's a good lot of stuff on here that if you use it, it works tremendously well for you. If you just scan for it and you're like, oh, I'll watch that later, or I'll do that later, or if you're like me, I've done this before, I'll watch a video, I'm like, that's a great technique, I'm watching it with my popcorn and I'm going to do that later, but don't get around to doing it, then it's completely ineffective. But if you watch it and you do it and you feel it, it's really, really powerful stuff. But probably the best thing for you to, Jeff, is when I put that link, click on the link, book your free screening call with me, and then we'll go from there, seeing if I can help you. Just going to scroll down. Hopefully that answers your question, Jeff. Haley is watching. Anthony is watching. If you just joined us, give us a thumbs up, give us a wave. If you've got any questions about hypnosis, anxiety, or me, put them in the comments below, because this is a live Facebook Q&A. As I scroll down, see if we've got any more questions here. April has a question. I'm going to expand my screen. April asks, I like one-on-one. April's a hypnotist, I believe, especially as my internal representation is kinesthetic. That just means to us non-hypnotists is that she likes to be in the room and feel people in an appropriate way. But I have really good success doing hypnosis and NLP with a couple clients lately. Great. So I'm imagining that means, April, you've been doing some online stuff recently and you've had some success, great success in doing it online, I'm going to imagine. If that's so, put your thumbs up. That's great. Yeah, I don't notice any difference is in the level of my work. The level of my work is when I come to help somebody, I always bring my bat and I bring the ball and I'm going to knock it out of the fucking park. So whether they're in the same room as me or they're 5,000 miles away across the Atlantic Ocean in England, I'm there to play. I'm there to knock it out of the park. So there's no question about me and what I do. If the client's ready and the client's bringing their baseball bat and they are ready to play, then again, it doesn't matter if it's live and in person or if it's over Skype, because the work is all happening inside the client's head to make those shifts, to make those changes. Hayley asks, hey there, thank you for another brilliant live. Thank you for watching, Hayley. I'm glad you enjoy it. I'd be curious to know what you enjoyed specifically. If you put that in the comments below, that would be lovely. Helps for me to make more Facebook Lives like that and to tailor it to what you want. That's why we're doing a Q&A tonight. I want to find out what you want. Answer your questions. Deb asks, with weight release, how many sessions do you recommend people purchase? Does it totally depend on the amount of weight needed to be reduced? Yes. So every time I work with a client on every single problem, thank you, on every single problem, April, thank you, April, on every single problem apart from weight release, and notice I use the term weight release. I don't use weight loss. Sometimes I trip up and I will say weight loss just because I've been doing it for 30 years, saying weight loss instead of weight release. But if you think about it linguistically, in our linguistics, our words are how we describe what's going on inside our head, consciously or unconsciously. Who wants to lose their car? Who wants to lose their job? Who wants to lose their partner? Who wants to lose their house? Who wants to lose an arm? We don't like to lose, but we do like to release. Who wants to release that tension? Who wants to release their bowels when they go to the bathroom? We like to release, we don't like to lose. So sometimes just using that little bit of linguistics as weight release instead of weight loss makes a big difference unconsciously in people's minds. But yeah, typically what I find, Deb, is every problem I see someone, now there are some exceptions, but typically I'm seeing someone from 1 to 3 sessions on all problems except weight release. And I'll tell you why in a minute. And their problems are gone or severely diminished, so they don't bother the people as much anymore. Now, the only time that changes, that I'll see someone for more than 3 sessions, hypnosis works fast, folks. We're not working with the doorman, if you will, or the secretary in someone's mind. We're going straight to the CEO, straight to the COO, the chairperson in the back of their mind, and we're working directly with those to make shifts and changes. So hypnosis, not, oh, I just feel a bit better. That's not, I can make someone feel better in about 3 minutes. That's a state change, it's temporary. With hypnosis, yes, there will be state changes, but we want to make a behavioral change that shifts someone. So you don't just feel that essentially you've emptied that glass that was filled with toxic juice, and then you come back a week later and it's filled. We want to shatter the whole fucking glass so you can never fill it up again with toxic juice, so the problem is no longer there. See how most counsellors, psychotherapists work, and I don't think they're bad people. I don't think they're bad people, understand that. But how the counselling or psychotherapy field is set up, or even the CBT, is there's no ending sessions. You can keep seeing your counsellor, your psychotherapist, your cognitive behavioural therapist over and over again for the rest of your life. So essentially they become a hired friend. I don't want to be anyone's hired friend. I want to see someone, help them to shatter their own fucking glass that's causing the problem, so when they leave respectfully and lovingly, I say to them, hopefully I never see you again. And they chuckle and they smile and they're like, yeah, me too, Luke. And ideally, and most of the time, I never see them again, other than a message from time to time, an email or a text to say, Luke, it's going amazing. Thank you for helping me help myself change my life, or if they refer family and friends to me. Weight release is different. Weight release is different, Debbie, because of this. I always get my clients to pay up front for all sessions, and specifically with weight release. Because let's say a client has £50 to lose. Let's say they're in a hole right now, right? And let's say we're working together and they've lost £25. They're halfway there. They're feeling good. One arm is out of the hole. They're peering outside of the hole. They can start to see the wood from the trees. They can start to see the sun. They're halfway there. Then they start to celebrate and get lazy. Because like, well, I've lost £25. I can start to eat more. I can start to go out more, eat more bad food. Stop training. Stop being so disciplined. And before you know it, they're right back in the hole. And I know this because I did that whole fucking dance most of my life. All right, you're halfway out, you're feeling good. Now I can let go a little bit, relax a little bit, and then suddenly you're right back in the bottom with an extra £25 to lose. The thing when it comes to weight release with clients I work with, and in general 23 years of doing this, is this: the most challenging time for people with weight release, and the time when they most are likely to break and engage in old habits, is when they're halfway there. They start to over celebrate, and they start to let go of the rope or let go of whatever they're holding to climb out, and they fall back. The danger zone is when someone's about halfway into it. So coaching, hypnotic coaching, is to get them to the point where they're releasing weight, but get them completely out of that hole, then pave the hole over so they can no longer fall back into that hole. So it's the only time where people need additional work. They need coaching all the way through to make sure that the weight is gone, stays gone, and they don't fall back in the hole because they have paved over it. So yeah, whenever I do weight release, it's dependent bit. For example, let's say, you know, someone has £50 to lose. Very, very, very conservatively. All right, very conservatively, I like to set it up so my clients can't foul. If they're only losing £1 a week for 50 weeks, they've lost that £50 within a year and it won't come back. But that is hyper conservative because I want to set up the rules of engagement that my clients don't foul as long as they are actually doing the work that we agreed, me and them, to do. So yeah, the most dangerous point when it comes to weight release is when someone's halfway out of the hole, they get lazy, they over celebrate, then they get seduced into their old patterns. That's where I need to be there, and that's why they've paid for their X amount of sessions, to be like, you're halfway out, and they're like, yeah, I'm going to celebrate. That's when I'm in 6 months down the line. I'm like, no. No time for celebrating now. You've still got more work to do. You're halfway out. Now's the danger zone. You need to grab my hand, feel it, feel my hand, reach out, reach through the YouTube, reach through the Facebook, grab my hand so I can help to pull yourself out of that hole. Completely paved it over. And then when that's done, the work is done and you won't be seduced back into old patterns. So it was a long-winded way of answering the question, kind of, hopefully, Deb. If that was okay, give me a thumbs up, give me a wave. If you've just joined us, give me a thumbs up, give me a wave. Let me know that you're out there. Again, tonight is a Q&A on hypnosis, on anxiety, or about me in general. Put your questions in the comments below and I will answer them here live today. I'm just going to scroll down on my screen right now. April was saying online. Yeah, she's saying about her. April is a hypnotist as well, and she predominantly worked with people one-on-one in the same room, but she's gone online recently and had a great deal of success. That is awesome. Thanks for the anxiety tip about the object and the midline. No problem, April. If you've just joined us, when I up this a little bit later on, when the actual live is done, you can watch that again and watch that technique called bilateral stimulation for helping flood both hemispheres of the brain with blood and switching off your anxiety. Barbara says, you exude such confidence. Send me some of that. All right, are you ready, Barbara? I'm going to send you some of this confidence. Are you ready? Reach through the Facebook screen right now. Reach through, grab my hand, grab it, feel it. Can you feel that confidence coming up through the screen, higher and higher and higher and higher now, and stronger and stronger and stronger. And now reach in, put that inside your heart. Thank you. I take that as a compliment. I love it. Thank you, Barbara. But it's self-belief. Because here's the thing with confidence, right? Confidence is fleeting. Someone could be confident while they're doing a Facebook Live, but when it comes to doing a talk in front of a bunch of people, their confidence goes to shit. So confidence is fleeting. It's situationally dependent. What I feel it's more important to do is develop self-belief. Some people call it self-esteem. All right? There's only one thing. There's only one thing in the world I'm good at. Only one thing. You know, like there's some people that are good at this sport, good at that sport, good at this science, good at that science, got multiple PhDs. There's only one thing in the world I'm good at. Just one, is talking. Only thing I'm good at. And because I care about what I'm talking, and you can feel it's not some bullshit lines that I'm reading from a script in front of you. Who else is frustrated and annoyed when they're getting a motivational talk from somebody and they can tell the person just reading from a line and they're saying all the right words to you, but there's no fucking feeling behind it. It's too smooth. It does my head in. I'd rather feel rawness and passion, because I know that person's there in the moment and not in their own head thinking, oh, how serious, how important, how intelligent do I sound. All my energy is on you, helping you to help yourself, taking to the self to the next level. So sometimes I will run over my words, and that's okay. Quick story about me. When I was growing up, I would do all these courses in hypnosis and neuro-linguistic programming because I desperately wanted to help the world and people I saw around me suffering. And when I was young, I'd go into these courses, an 18, 19-year-old punk kid. Everyone else around me was 40, 45, 50 established people in their suits and their ties, their highfalutin jobs. They had families, they had houses. And here I am as a punk kid with a little bit of life experience at that point. And people would come up to me on these courses, and I was a very different guy back then because I was trying to be what the world wanted me to be. And inevitably, the message that I got loud and clear is, you're saying all the right words, Luke. So smooth. Yet we don't buy it. We don't feel that anything is real that you're saying, that it isn't authentic. And it would upset me and it would frustrate me because I'm like, this is me, I'm saying all these things. What do you mean I'm not being authentic? Because I was trying to be like all these other people on the courses. So when I go to these courses now, 20, 21 years later, betraying my age, by the way, it's my birthday on May the 8th, which is a week from this Friday. You can send your love emails and PayPal transactions to mail@lukenosis.com and gifts. But joking aside, and then I developed one day, I saw some other hypnotist trainers, and I feel really attracted to them. Not in a sexual, romantic way at all. Don't get me wrong there. But I was attracted to their energy. And what I realised was that's the energy that I had inside, but I was afraid of letting out in case I offended some people, in case I was too different, in case I wasn't accepted. So when I embraced who I was, my shadow side and all, when I embraced my weaknesses and my strength, and I decided I didn't want to be like any other fucker in the world, certainly hypnotist or change worker, I wanted to be me. And have I been influenced by other great change workers? Totally. But this guy that you see isn't trying to be Tony Robbins. He isn't trying to be Richard Bandler. He's doing his best to be in himself. Yet he's peppered in through all these other people that I've worked with and trained with. I've been peppered into my neurology, and this is what you get, warts and all. So that was a question about exuding confidence, but it's all about self-belief. I saw what most people in my field was doing. I did not want to be them because, number one, they weren't having the kind of success that I wanted to have with clients. Number two, they weren't having the lifestyle that I wanted. Number three, they weren't making the kind of money and having the kind of success that they wanted financially as I was having. So I decided I am going to go this road, and it was a lonely fucking dark road. But I'm like, if they're all doing that and I don't want to be like them and they ain't where I want to be, I'm going to go down the opposite road and leave a trail. And that's what I did. And it's scary sometimes and it's a bit lonely, to be honest. But I want to go down this road and leave a path for other people to be their individual, to be their, to embrace their individualism. Yes, it's easy for me to say, but to embrace that, to not be a cookie cuddle model, to be their own version of who they am. That's why when I'm working with clients, it doesn't matter if I stumble words, doesn't matter if I speak too fast, doesn't matter if I speak too slow, doesn't even matter if I make up shit. I've said this before, I've said this to my clients, I'm like, I just made that shit up, to which most of them say, I know you did, Luke. And I'm like, but it still worked, right? They're like, yeah, I don't have that problem, that addiction, that fear, that phobia anymore. Because it's all about energy, folks. It's not about some next technique that you're going to use that cures everyone, that's going to make you not broken. By the way, no one's broken. You just, we just need to wire you in such a way that you work better out there. Sorry, I went off on a tangent there, but sometimes I get passionate. So develop your self-belief in who you are. Confidence, situational, self-belief is what's inside. It's just who you know who you are, that reputation you have with yourself, that you have the balls, the courage to go down a different road when everyone else around you that you don't want to be like necessarily is going down this road. Nothing frustrates me more than going on a hypnosis or change group, a live training, and everyone's trying to be like the trainer in the room, everyone is being sedate, everyone is watching their P's and Q's, everyone is acting professional, but then I know that they're not making a living out helping people. Whenever I do a live training with people, someone else's live training, I always ask the people in the room, you know, like, so how long you been doing this? Some people 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 years. I'm like, great. So is hypnosis, is change work, the change work a full-time job for you? And they say no. And I say, why? Well, it's just yeah, you know, I just don't have the confidence. I'm like, the confidence? You've been working on this shit for 20, 25 years. You're a hypnotist, you're a change worker. What the hell are you doing? Why aren't you working with yourself? But everyone needs to develop that background, that self-esteem, that self-belief. Stop trying to be like everyone else. Be like yourself. Some people get a little bit cheeky with me on these hypnosis courses. They come up in a nice way, but a bit snarky, to be honest. They'll say, oh, does your look, does your tattoos, your way of using colourful language, do you think that pushes some clients away? Do you think that costs you business? To which I say, are you making a living out of what you're doing, a great living? Generally the answer for them is no. And I look at them and they look like everyone else in the room because they're all trying to be a square peg in a square hole. I'm like, it works really, really well for me. That's why you know who I am. That's why when you saw me today, you've seen me somewhere else before, whether that be video, whether that be my podcast, or you'd heard about me. And remember, everything you've heard about me is true, folks. Because I had the courage to embrace this character that I was and to dial that volume all the way up and not be like everyone else. As far as it offending people, my language or the way I go about it, I really don't give a fuck. Because if a little bit of colourful language offends people, or some tattoos offend people, or my British accent or a beard offends people, then being locked in a room with me for at least an hour is really gonna fucking offend you. So it's a way of filtering out snowflakes or people that are just, oh, soft, soft, soft. This is not my approach, folks. I am not a soft and fluffy bear. Only to the hypno pixie and to my cats am I a soft and fluffy bear. I'm out there to help people make those changes, and if I have to metaphorically bitch slap them to allow them to get out of their own way to make those shifts, then I'm going to do that, because I don't want to milk session after session taking someone's money. So 4 years down the line, they've dropped 50 grand with me, yet they're still broken. Not that they were ever broken, but in their brain there has, because I've encouraged that, and I've encouraged a codependent relationship. I want to make you completely interdependent, so you never need me or someone else to work on you, because you have the ability to work on yourself. So embrace your individualism. Embrace who you are. Don't be like everyone else. Hopefully that answered your question, Barbara. You can see this stuff ain't scripted, it's raw. Let's see. Again tonight, guys, it's a live Q&A. If you've got any questions about hypnosis, about anxiety, or me in general, put them in the comments below and I'm going to answer them all. If you've just joined us, give us a thumbs up. Give us a wave. Going to scroll down now. I like the CEO analogy or metaphor. Good, Barbara. Yeah, use it. Use it. Haley says, I like that there is no bullshit. You're straightforward, positive, and answer questions without selling yourself. Thank you. Yeah. Listen, we're all selling ourselves. Me being here, if I'm honest with you, I'm selling myself. Because you're like, I like that guy or I don't like that guy. People who don't like me are gone, which is great. I'm going to share a real quick story with you, Haley, and everyone else. Back when I got to Canada about almost 11 years ago, I couldn't really afford an office. So I had an office in my home. Now I lived in this apartment block in Ottawa, the capital of Canada. And it was a bit of a sketchy apartment block, to be honest, but it's all I could afford at the time. So I was just restarting my hypnosis career in Canada. So I'd use the spare room that me and my ex had, right? So I remember one day this lady comes in, and she comes in through the big doors, gets scanned through, and I'm on the 9th floor, I think the top floor. And she comes in, and it was before YouTube was so big, so I didn't have a shit ton of videos out there at that point. So now people have seen me and they've heard me, because I've got literally over 1,000 videos out there. So that filters out people that are going to be offended by me very quickly, or if I'm not the type of person that someone's going to be comfortable with. That's great. Don't waste your money on it then. You get to feel who I am, because this is the same guy right here on this video as you're going to get in real life. Anyways, this lady came for Stop Smoking. She comes to my door. It's the first time she's ever seen me for session 1. I think it was, I was only doing 1 session for smoking, Stop Smoking. She comes in and she's got this look of abject terror on her mind. Much like, what the fuck have I got myself into? What's going to happen here? I've paid this guy all this money and now I'm like 10 times the amount of money I charged there. I could see it, right? I could see it on her face. I could see the terror and I could see her, I've just wasted a bunch of money look on her face, right? Long story short, she comes in, we do the hypnosis, test it at the end, and I would make sure that she didn't smoke for 24 hours before the session because I wanted her to Jones, to really want that cigarette. So when she came into my office in my spare room in my apartment, sounds a bit ominous, my girlfriend was there as well and my cat. This lady was totally safe. But I wanted her craving to be a 10 out of 10. So when she came in, so when it was a 0, 1 hour later, she knew that this shit worked. So we're done the work, we come out the other end and I just looked at her and I knew what she was going to say. I knew what she was going to say. She goes, and I stopped her, I'm like, you want to apologise, don't you? She's like, yeah. Kind of like the guy that I mentioned at the beginning. I'm like, this is not what you thought it was going to be when you looked at me and you saw me and you made that judgment when you came in tonight. She's like, totally, how did you know this? It's all right, I've seen that look before. I'm like, you just probably thought that you'd wasted your money in coming here tonight, didn't you? And this was some kind of scam. She's like, yeah. And I'm like, well, how do you feel now? She goes, Luke, when I first met you tonight, you got like, I didn't have any tattoos there or really a big beard, but I'm like, I've come to this apartment and it's not really an office and there's a cat here. And I was just like, what the hell? And I'm like, what have I got myself into? This is a scam. And I looked at you and I'm like, oh yeah, this guy don't look professional. She goes, and I'm like, you're probably wishing you didn't make that judgment now, aren't you? She goes, yeah, totally. I'm like, do you want to smoke? She's like, no. And her body language, like, just recoiled before her words, which is always a good thing when I see if they want a cigarette after her. And her cigarette urge was a 0 at that point. She goes, yeah, but I saw you and how you were dressed and how you were talking, and I figured this wasn't professional. Yeah, I've worked with all these professionals for years to help me with X, Y, and Z, and I was still smoking. I come and see you, the hypnopunk, and I made this judgment, but I don't want to smoke anymore. And I can really see that through all of this, how you look, that your heart is you generally want to help people that want to be helped. And she goes, there's a lesson here to be learned. I thought I was just coming here to stop smoking, but I've learned something else today, and that kind of touched me. That kind of touched me in my heart. I always judge people on their energy and how they treat me and people I love. I don't care what the newspaper says about them, what all these other people that are on the fringe of my social circles say, what the reviews or the write-up. I'm really good at reading energy, and most people are if you listen to your gut, not your heads, because a bunch of intellectual stuff will come in, not your heart because you'll get emotional, but when you listen to your gut, it will generally tell you and keep you safe. And generally my gut tells me, you know, if someone's good or not. So I always trust my interactions with my interaction with someone, what my gut says about that. And that generally will let me know if it's going to be a good relationship, professional, romantic, friendship, whatever it is. But don't always judge a book by its cover. Yeah, we all do, including me. But as soon as you know you're making that judgment, stop and say to yourself, hold on, is this coming from my head? Because this person doesn't look like how I figured these people should look like. These people. Is it coming from my heart? Am I getting emotional about it? Or is it generally coming from my gut? If it's coming from your gut, then it's authentic. Because it's cut through all the noise of your heart and it's cut through all the noise of your head. Just going to scroll down. Thank you, Haley. Candice says, this may be a stupid question, but does hypnosis interfere with medication or anything else? Not a stupid question, Candice. No. To answer your question, no, it's not a stupid question, and it can't interfere with your medication because all hypnosis is words inside your head. So it can't interfere with your medication in any way, shape or form. Otherwise, every conversation you have with someone, there'd have to be a disclaimer that would come with it that would say, "What? Be careful of the conversation because it could interfere with your medication." But I'm being a bit silly about it, but just to give a metaphor to illustrate. Now, hypnosis is just words. Words that go straight into your unconscious mind and allow you to make shifts with your habits. So absolutely no way will it interfere with medication other than under doctor supervision, potentially turn out to be a point that you won't need that medication in the future. That's the only way it can help it positively. So hopefully that answers your question, Candice. Deb gives me the thumbs up. Thank you. Hey, Julie, how are you? Amanda is watching. If you've got any questions, guys, give me a thumbs up. Give me a wave. To remember, tonight is a Q&A on hypnosis, on anxiety, and about me in general. So keep asking your questions. I'll be here as long as it takes to answer all your questions. Debbie asks, it's the straightforward, honest attitude that makes me certain I made the right choice in choosing to work with you. Cool. Thank you, Debbie. I won't say what you worked with me for, but Debbie has worked with me for a few issues and had amazing success in working with me because she listened to it, she used the principles, and she's creating her best life right now. So I'm very proud of you, Deb, and all the work that you are doing. April asks, or is it a statement? Beautiful tangent the world needs. Thank you. Yes, so I'd like to, or I don't know if I like to, they just happen. I go off on tangents sometimes, just passion. Barbara says, thanks, you nailed it. Thank you. Pamela is watching. Hey, Pamela, how are you? If you just joined us, thumbs up, give me a wave, say hi in the comments below. Scrolling down right now. Scott is watching. Hey, Scott, how are you? Good to see you. So that doesn't seem to be any more questions there, guys. If you've just joined us, thank you, Deb. If you've got any questions about hypnosis, thank you, Julie. Put your questions in the comments below, again, about me, about hypnosis, about anxiety. I'll give it a minute or so if anyone's got any more questions. Other than that, I will call it a day or a night. It's about, what is it? 8 minutes past 8 here in Toronto right now. And I'm going to leave in the description below, I am going to leave the link to a screening call. So for those people who are interested in doing some work with me, then you click on the link, goes to a secure page on my website, you book out a screening call. The screening call is free. It is not free therapy though. It's 40 minutes with me over some audio device, whether it be telephone, Facebook audio, FaceTime audio, WhatsApp audio, whatever the audio is, where we get to have a little chat. I get to ask you some precision specific questions to dig a bit deeper into what your perceived problem is. You can ask me anything that you want to ask me, and we'll see if we can work together. And if I believe, and if you believe, that we can work together in harmony, and I can help you to overcome your anxiety, whatever your problem is. So just click on the link below that will say screening call, follow the instructions, and we'll get on the blower later on this week, and I'll see if I can help you. Candy says, thank you for answering my questions. No, absolutely. That's why I do these things, is to answer your questions. Excellent. Debbie says, awesome night. Thanks for the information. Beautiful. Oh, and one final thing. This is not the screening call. This is separate from the screening call, okay? And it's this. I am doing some recorded, fun hypnosis over Zoom this week. This is not therapy. This isn't, Luke, I've got 20 years of trauma. Will you fix me for free? Absolutely not. No. This is not what it is, right? What it is a Zoom call that I'm going to record. So full disclosure, it's totally going to be recorded. So you're agreeing for it to be recorded, and it will be used in my marketing. So it'll be on the Facebook page, this page on my YouTube. But what it is, if you've never experienced hypnosis before, or even if you have, it's for us to do some fun hypnosis, to give you the experience of what hypnosis feels like in your body and what this thing is. Because oftentimes people ask me when I'm at an expo, Luke, what is hypnosis? To which I say, well, if you've got 45 minutes, I can bore you with information, or I could just do it in a few seconds. Which would you prefer? You could do it in a few seconds, to which I am totally. So if you'd like to experience free, fun hypnosis for no deep trauma, just for experiencing what does hypnosis feel like, kind of curious, not quite sure what it is, I'd like to feel what it is, then just send me a personal message on Facebook. Just click on my name, send me a personal message, or just say I'm in below, and we will do a fun 20-minute Skype recorded video hypnosis for fun stuff, to give you an experience hypnosis. Or a few people, we're going to be doing one with Scotty later on this week and one with Camille later on this week. We're going to record it and we'll probably place it up here later on. But if you'd like to experience some hypnosis for free, for some fun stuff, no therapy, no change work, just like, what does it feel like? I'm kind of curious, a bit nervous. I want to dip my toe in to see what it feels like. I'll give you an experience of what it is. Just put I'm in below, or click on my name and send me a personal message, and we'll arrange that for this week. I've got 3 more spots to do that this week, guys. Candice, you're in. Lovely. So send me a personal message, Candice, and we'll do that. But again, it's going to be recorded, but it's going to be fun. We're not finding out your personal history on these things. We're not digging up bodies. We're not doing some big therapeutic intervention where you feel all vulnerable and you don't want to share any of that. We're not doing any of that. It's just kind of fun stuff that you'd see on a stage show or your TV show where, you know, we disappear your hand or we make you forget a number just for fun, just to show you how powerful your mind is when you follow conscious and unconscious directives. I feel like I've spoken a lot, been on about an hour today, so that was good. So I'm going to go and do my exercise now and my meditation and all that good stuff. So yeah, if you're curious, if you've just joined us, this is going to be upped in a few moments. You can watch it again to your heart's desire. As always, please like, please share, please comment, please share it with people that you feel would benefit from this Facebook Live and the information in. And also, if you're on any Facebook groups that are for anxiety, depression, addiction, anything like that, that you feel that people would need to see this information that could potentially help them, tag those people or just share this video in those groups that you are, so we can get the message out and help more and more people. That being said, I feel like I haven't breathed for an hour, so I'm going to do my Wim Hof meditation technique and breathe after this. That being said, always, actually before I give you the always believe, this week, between the hour of 7 and 8, every day this week, I'm going to be doing a Facebook Live. So to quote the 1960s episodes and TV series of Batman with Adam West, I will see you, same Luke time, same Luke place, same Luke channel tomorrow. Always believe.